Hello and welcome to the Bridetender podcast. I'm your host, Estee Gordon, and I'm here to tend to the brides like I tend to the bar. So mix yourself a cocktail and let's get ready to talk all things weddings.
Hi.
Hi, Josh.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm well, thanks. How's it going?
It is good. You know, every day is a little bit different in this pandemic. But taking it day by day.
Good. I think that's the only way you can do it is taking it day by day, no?
Yeah. I've learned that I have to roll with the punches here in 2020.
Yeah, I think that's been the life lesson for everyone. Hold on one second. Let me just let everyone know that this is happening.
Well, first, thank you so much for taking the time to do this with me.
My pleasure.
This is my first time doing a Zoom video of this.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm actually so terrified, but I'm going to figure it out how to edit what I need to edit.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Well,
But
make sure you edit me not eating because I'm eating.
don't worry. But you kind of look like you have a cocktail with you, even if it's just water. And that works because here at the Bridetender, you have to eat at least fake drink.
Okay, deal. I'm
okay.
good. A real drink if you want, but that's a whole second. Yeah.
Hey,
Whatever works. Okay, I'm excited to do it. Thank you so much for reaching out.
Yes, I'm excited to have you on. You know that obviously I'm a big fan of your work. So I was I really need to have Josh on. I need to hear about everything that he's doing because you guys look like you're killing it right now.
Yeah, it's like a weird thing. I bumped into someone today. Sometimes I design in weird spaces. It's just my thing. I'll just park myself in a hotel lobby and just design there all day. I just need to change the scenery. I need to be doing something different. I need something great. And I need to see people because that really adds to my creativity. You never know what someone's going to wear while they're walking by you. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, inspired. So I bumped into someone in the industry today and I said to him, it's a really weird thing. It's a nice, weird thing to feel this humbly, awkwardly, excitedly, gratefully, slightly embarrassingly busy. I don't know how to say that better. It's a very weird time, and we discuss it in the office all the time. The team knows it. We feel weird that we're posting all this we're living life when we know that the rest of the industry is really hurting. We're hurting too. We're not hurting as hard because we are keeping busy. And it's a beautiful thing. And yes, we have this allure that we're doing really well out there, which is cool. And the truth is we're very busy and we keep getting busier because the more we're putting out, the more people are saying, oh, we can do this too. And the less people are saying, no, we can't, we have to wait a year. So, it's a little bit of a weird, exciting, like I said, somewhat embarrassing, but pleasantly embarrassing time. I don't know how to explain it. It's a weird feeling because these are all my peers, they're my peeps. It's hard. It's hard.
It's definitely hard. Because you see some companies are busy because they're taking those micro weddings by storm. They're just hey, let's do this. But then others are so used to the big events that they almost aren't sure how to navigate moving towards smaller parties.
I'm totally with you. For us, it's been it started with me building a chuppah in my backyard with my kids. That's really what it started with. During COVID, I'm let's show people what it will be like when you have to make a wedding for 10 people in your backyard, which is our first wedding was 10 people. It was 12 people or 15 people, something like that. And that was in May, end of May, right before it became technically legal to do it. And then after that wedding, we got 8 phone calls. And then after the next few weddings, we got 10 phone calls. And then every day we would get 6 to 7 new inquiries where we had to start turning down the micro weddings because we had all these people who were planning on making 600 person weddings or 400 person weddings, now very happily wanting to do gorgeous 200 person weddings or 50 people weddings or 150 people weddings. And then all of a sudden our world shifted to saying, you know what? We have to figure out how to make your backyard amazing because there's really not so many spaces you can go to, even though now more and more spaces are opening. it's been a hell of a situation because every event looks so unique because it's in a unique setting.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's backyard looks different. It's not going to be your
100%.
typical catering venue or temple or church ceremony or
Yeah,
anything like that.
it's completely unique. And I keep telling everybody, you're not outdoing anybody else at the same venue in the same space at the same time.
Yeah,
Now you're now taking your own space and just enhancing it, and you win 100% of the time because you're not competing with anybody.
that's true.
Cool. It's
Yeah.
cool. It's
Yeah,
very,
every party's unique now.
yeah, I love
Although
it.
all of your parties are unique.
Oh, thank you.
So like that
I
just
don't know
goes
how
to
true
that.
that is, but I'll say okay. I'll say okay. I mean, we try. We definitely try. We don't like to repeat ourselves. Obviously, there's some staple things that come
Yeah.
and go. There, we try to make every event, you know, unapologetically you. It's kind of the vibe. But yeah, thank you.
Now, how do you feel like Birch has kind of had to pivot during these times?
Well, I'll tell you what we lost. We lost a lot of the process that we were so proud of before. You know, it took me 12 years to build structure and infrastructure and process and systems, and we had to throw that all out the window to some extent. Like we had to say the proposals won't be as elaborate. We had to say the graphics will not be as on point. We had to say you will not get your proposal within a week of speaking to us necessarily, or even 2 or even 3. It may only come 2 or 3 weeks before your wedding, because we don't know how many people you're having. So what's the point in designing an event where typically I can go, oh, you're going to have around 400 people. So within 400 people, you'll be able to create a gorgeous floor plan. Now my floor plan, which dictates my entire event, isn't able to be done until a week before when you know how many people are coming. And more importantly, how are you grouping them?
Right.
That's been everything. I mean, I tell people all the time, like I have a bar mitzvah happening this weekend and we only designed it today. Today, Tuesday. It's
Yeah.
Tuesday. Like they got their proposal tonight, and I literally said there, I'm like, I'm not going to design the event until I know how you're grouping your 50. I know you have 50, but is it 5 tables of 10? Is it, you know, a bunch of tables of 8s and 6s and 4s and 2s? Is it like benches? Are there single people that want to sit alone? Like it's not the same as it was before. It's not like we just say, okay, now this tablecloth is going to fit on this anyway. It has to make sense. A table for 2 has to look like it's meant to be a table for 2, not that they're just like, oh, you're on the outside.
Yeah,
It has to
2
work.
people at a 60-inch table.
Yeah, it
Gonna
doesn't
look
work.
weird.
It doesn't work. So you have to like, I think that's been the biggest thing is losing that process that we were so proud of and jumping in on getting it done again, on making magic happen, on building confidence with your clients, with making sure that they know that you got them and you will not let them down, even though everything's coming. It's been very different. I'm sorry, I think I muted myself for a second, but it's been crazy and fun and stressful, but overall very validating. So I can't complain.
Now, do you see kind of like the future of weddings? I mean, especially here in New York, because New York, our prime wedding season has always been that May through October. But I
Right.
think that that's going to change a little bit with what's went on this year. Do you think that the future of weddings like is going to be outdoors? That people are going to choose that over, doing anything indoors if they can help it?
I think that people are going to open their mind to different type of weddings. I think people are going to realize that intimate weddings are a more important thing than before. I think that people are going to cut back on their big guest lists and say, you know what, I'm only going to invite the people that really matter. And then I do think that people are going to shift their venue ideas. I think people are going to be more open to, oh, let's just make the party here in the house, or let's just do it in a friend's backyard, or let's just keep it in the community, something to that effect, because there's something very intimate about walking out of your bedroom straight to your ceremony. There's
Yeah.
something about walking out of your patio straight to your groom. It's really heartwarming and it's very personal feeling. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like going back and forth. I don't know. I think we're gonna see a lot of change.
I think so too. Um, Something that I wanted to ask you is now with design work, I feel like you definitely you go above and beyond. Like you go for the gold. You're like you're not afraid to like take risks.
No.
And you'll do things hanging from the ceiling, big candelabras on the table, like a lot of candles, like a
Right.
lot of different things. What were some of the best designs that like you loved creating?
Oof. You know what's interesting? Okay, I have a few. I have a few. I'm never gonna like say I don't have any of my like favorite events. My favorite events are my personal events. Like my daughter's bat mitzvah was my favorite event. My son's bris was my favorite event because those are so important to me. They hit home with me. I got to live in them, not only just like enjoy it from the outside watching other people enjoy it, but I got to experience it as a guest. So for me, it was it was an overwhelming like mix of senses that I never experienced before. So those will always be my favorite. But I think some of my all-time like designs were ones that were really risky. Like I did a wedding once where we literally had 3,000 candles on 11 tables. They
Yeah.
were all tapered candles and they were all open flame. This isn't quite legal, but we did have we did have a fire marshal at every table
Oh wow.
with a fire extinguisher at every one of the tables.
I'm picturing like
They were
all
off the
these
side.
firemen by the
Yeah.
wedding, like
No,
sitting there
no,
with
no, 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 no,
with
no.
a fire extinguisher, like don't
No.
worry about the candles, we got
We
this.
were we were very quiet about it, off to the side. And every time you have to realize we didn't take into consideration the fact that these candles will melt each other so quickly. So, the ones at the bottom started just like, ooh, they were all like bending different areas. So as the night progressed, became part of the show. We would go over and like put out a candle, remove it, put out a candle, remove it, which usually during the dances, but it was quite the night. But it was experiential. You walked in and you just felt, well, one, you felt 180 degrees because
Yeah.
you were in a fire. And two, you felt, I don't know, you felt wrapped in something. And I think that's like a feeling I love to create. I did that once at a bat mitzvah a few years ago. We did like a masquerade theme bat mitzvah, and it was a little bit exaggerated, really cool. The design wasn't so elaborate, but the space, the way we laid out the space was pretty epic. Like we built up the dance floor in the middle, we built all the buffets and the bars into the dance floor. It was like so, again, it just was so beautifully wrapping you as a guest. I don't even know how to explain it, but like those are the designs that I'm obsessed with. And the ones that have flowers as a beautiful accent to the space, but the space within itself is already magnificent. So all you're doing is elevating the space with incredible floral, but the design and the intelligence and the textures and the colors are already speaking to you as a guest enough that even without the flowers, you're just like, wow, I'm in an incredible space.
I love that in a lot of your design work, you will always add in like some sort of color.
Yeah.
And that I think makes it pop. And like in the event that you showcased yesterday with the red, I was like,
That was
are
a
you
lot.
kidding me? I loved that. But I have to say, my favorite of all time, and me and my coworker, we always talk about it, is Jackie Oshry's wedding.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew.
Dead. I was dead. I was like, I watched the whole story the whole night, and I'm like, that is the dream. That chuppah is the dream. Like the cherry blossoms, like feeling, but in the winter with the teal. I'm like, so nice. The perfect winter look.
Yeah, it
Very
was.
like frozen, like frozen.
That's what it was. Jackie's like a Disney, enthusiast. So she was all about it. She's like, anything you can give me in Disney, I'm like, good. So Frozen was definitely a big part of that. And yeah, the ballroom was all Frozen inspired, which is cool. But it was an elegant Pierre version of it. Her chuppah came to us only the week before, the week of.
God.
Called her up, but we had a final meeting with her, and we were tweaking some things. And she wore this very fluffy sweater that looked like cotton candy. It was pink. It was so her. And I'm like, we're gonna turn this into a chuppah. And she goes, what? I'm like, just trust me. You're good. Figured it out. Like, I think the one thing about us is we won't settle. like, it's cool. The paperwork says what it says and it's good. And you sign a contract and it's beautiful and your design on paper is amazing. But if we are inspired by something that is very much you, not saying that we're just gonna be like, oh, it's good for us and therefore we're going to do it. We'll definitely call you up even week of and be like, guys, something like, boom, something happened. We need to explore this. We know we're a few days before the event, but we don't care to change it. There's not going to be a cost change to you. Like, let us just make something different. Let us live.
Yeah. And I feel like when you're like working with people who are creative, who are very involved in their wedding or their bar mitzvah or whatnot, like you don't want to, you know, not go full force if you have this amazing idea. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Because some people are scared. Some people want to know they're done. And when they're done, they're done. Some clients can't handle that. Some clients can't handle you calling them week of saying, I want to change it all. And I get that. I would never do that to a client that can't handle it. But for the clients who can, oh, like, I got the best phone call today from a bride getting married next year, Halloween. Okay.
That's cool.
She booked with us on the spot, sent a deposit while I was on the phone with her. It's incredible. And she's so willing to allow us to be so imaginative that, like, I'm breathing from her. Like, I'm breathing from that opportunity. I'm breathing from the chance to, like, really step outside of even our comfort zone, take this concept and really turn it into something. I don't know. I can't wait. I mean, my head's exploding with ideas, and it's a year away. It's a year plus away. So I have to wait. So I told her, I'm like, listen, whatever I'm thinking about today will be today, but I will likely change my mind beforehand and, like, elevate the concept and add to it and change it and manipulate it in ways that we didn't think in 2020 it would look. So just, if you're flexible with that, like, we'll be besties.
And if you know that like she's getting married on Halloween, she is an open and willing bride.
Yeah,
Like
she's
she's
so good.
for it.
Yeah, she's so with it. I love it. I love her. I think it's gonna be fantastic. I'm
I
confident.
I have this dream for when I get married that my chuppah can be repurposed in my like reception to be
Okay.
used for some sort of backdrop.
Well,
That
if you
out of
get in
control?
your backyard, that's like everyone's reality right
Oh
now.
yeah. Oh well, yeah, that's true. I guess I never thought about it being in my backyard,
It's
but
so
like,
funny. Everybody's saying, I'm like, well, think about it. Your ceremony now is like literally front and center. I've been doing so many ceremonies where people are seated at their tables for the ceremony.
oh yeah, that
And
makes
it's
sense.
working really nice and all the candles are lit. It's just like a beautiful vibe. Not everyone has magnificent mansions that have, like, I don't want to say it that way. That's dirty. I want to take that back. I meant to say not many people have like massive property that they can make an event have some kind of flow.
That's true. Yeah. And I think it goes to show that no matter the space, like you're able to make it happen.
Yeah. You just have to be open-minded. You just have to look at the space. You know what it is? You know what it is? And this is like when I go to any new venue or any, again, I'm not looking to say anything negative, but any like run-of-the-mill venue. Like, I'm not saying like, not places that aren't having designers come in and flip over their spaces often, places that are not used to big production, places that are used to florists coming in and dropping a flower on a table or a linen and a flower on a table. And the most exciting thing they've ever done is had like a decal dance floor, but still in the same space that the dance floor has been. I always tell people, like, when I walk into a room, I don't visualize the room. Like, when the venue goes, oh, I'll send you over our floor plans with like sample seating. I'm like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it because it doesn't matter. The box is a
Right.
box, and we're going to recreate the box. However, do we decide to make the box? Because it's just a box. It doesn't matter if you use it this way or if you use it, the other way. If a different manager came in here, they may think it's a different normal, but for me, it's just a space, and there are 4 walls to space, and we're going to use those 4 walls to dictate the design, and that's where we start. So when you go to a backyard, it's the same game. I walk into these spaces, I'm just like, yes, it makes sense for this to be like this, but what if we push the boundary? What if we move the chuppah 4 feet back? I know you're bordering another property. I know it's a cliff, but what if I built a platform off the cliff and you had your ceremony there? Like, what if I did it? What if I could do it? I don't know if I could do it, but what if I could do it? And they're
Yeah.
like, I've never thought about that because this is the flattest piece of land in our entire property. I'm like, okay, we can make any piece of land flat. It just
Right.
doesn't make sense, So I don't know. I like it. I don't even
I
know
like
how.
that too. And I agree with you. I think a space can be used however you want it to be. And once you're like into this cookie cutter, it has to be this way. Like, even I know, even if I hear that as someone in the industry, I'm like, no, because it makes you not want to do it that way. You're like,
Right.
oh no, I'm going to find a different way just because I don't want to do it that way.
Yeah, I don't want to do it the same way everyone else does it. What's the point? Why am I
Right.
here?
Yeah.
Right? That's usually what I say. In a nice way. Humbly. I don't know how sometimes I come across, I don't even know how I come across. People are like, oh my God, you just talk. I'm like, yes, I talk. I'm unfiltered. I'm a little disruptive. I'm slightly more confident today than I was yesterday. But I mean everything with a lot of respect. I don't ever mean to put anything down. I don't ever mean to be like, disrespectful to any property or anything. I just don't like limitations when there don't need to be them. Like it just doesn't need to be there. Just because it's the normal doesn't mean that it's the normal. It just means it's your normal, and we could potentially think about it in a different normal way. And usually we end up finding a good compromise.
Right. And you just tell these people, like, don't you worry. I have the experience. We're going to make it.
I can say that. I would never. Oh my gosh! If I said that to someone, if I put up my hand and spoke like that, someone would be like,
Just
"Get out of
don't
here!"
worry. Just
They
like
would
let
literally
us do
smack
our
me upside my head. They would drag me out the venue and be like, "Who do you think you are?" No, I would never. I have to be. I mean, I
yeah.
am. I have to be extremely respectful. I get it. It's their home. It's their
Yeah.
property. Like I just have to like subtly put my
Yeah.
2 cents in and hope that
And
they
hope that, yeah.
hear how confident I am in it and they start to trust it. And if they don't, then we swing back a little bit.
Now,
You know?
since I feel like you do a lot of like religious Jewish weddings, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of components to that that not everybody knows about. So you have like a tish and a bedekin, and the ceremony with the chuppah, and sometimes you have to put a divider depending
Yeah.
on how religious.
Yeah.
Um, how how do you kind of arrange that, especially now where we're kind of doing everything all in one space in
That's
regards
the
to
hardest
backyard?
part. Yeah, that's the hardest part. So we'll use the front of the house, let's say for Badek and Tish. Sometimes we'll use a room in the house for Tish because it's just the men. Well, that's what I'm saying. The ceremony will likely be wherever your dinner is. And then you really just break down the ceremony, or you leave it up and you just remove the tallis or the canopy or whatever's on top so that it feels more of like a dance or a vibe.
Yeah.
At the lighting, light your candles, and it's a home run. It definitely does create challenges for us. It definitely does, but
Yeah.
it's what we're used to in a lot of senses. So it's been working
And a
fine.
lot of venues too, it's kind of a similar situation because sometimes you have to reuse space.
Yes. Well, that's where I
Especially,
started. That's the interesting part. I started in this business in a venue, which was one room, and it
oh, really?
flipped. Flipped.
Yeah.
I swear it. Listen to this. You ready? Imagine you walk into a very big box. Okay, so it's the size of our screen here.
Yeah.
Hold on, going a little up. I got it. Hold on, hold on. I'm trimming my space. Outside the lines. Hold on. Okay, we got the whole. Oh man, I went outside the lines again. Okay, it doesn't matter. So imagine that. Now you divide the screen into three. And in this first square, you have a little box at the bottom. So we're dividing that in half, and that's the tish. The badekin is all the way over here in the third component. The chuppah is in the middle. So guests come in, men come to here, women come to here, men then march to women. Women then all leave together, go to ceremony. We flip this side, we're flipping down here. Ceremony breaks. As people start walking out to filter back into the left and right sides of this ballroom, we're breaking down everything around them. And then all the walls come down and it's one big ballroom. Nightmare.
Yeah.
But it was a machine. So I was forced at a young age to start thinking about space differently.
Right. I
But
know
it
it's
definitely
hard
added.
when you have to break down too, and you have a specific amount of time. So you have to make sure you have a specific amount of hands on to get that breakdown done. And
It's exhilarating to me. It's
yeah.
empathy.
Well, at the
Love
beginning,
that part.
like at the beginning of my career, I was like, oh, like this is really scary,
Yeah, it was very scary.
But now,
Because
like,
there's so much in your power, there's so much in your hands. Like if you delay it, like the whole wedding gets delayed.
like for me, I know coming from different venues where people would bank on the outside for ceremony, if it's not available because it rained,
Yeah, you
then
don't.
you're like, okay, everything is now happening in this ballroom. Oh, like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I
I
definitely
kind
know
of
that
love it.
feeling.
I kind of love it. I started really, I like, it's like a thrill for me, the whole turnover thing. I feel like it's magic. I feel like we're stage men, changing scenery of a
Yeah.
Broadway show for guests in front of them. It's like, there's something so magical to me about it. I love it.
Hey, and you do a good job at it. So
Thank you.
it
Thank
is
you very much.
definitely your thing.
Thank you.
Um, so now not everyone might know this about you, but of course I've listened to like you on different podcasts and whatnot, and I've met you before. And you started out in like working with your dad with
Yeah.
balloons,
Yeah.
right?
Blow
So
balloons for a living. Crazy.
and you kind of like just started in the industry, just like you started to put together arrangements, and then like now you've grown the business like this, like
Yeah.
this empire.
Yeah.
How have like what do you think has helped you like grow the business so much?
I think the key is listening. I think that's what it is. It's about hearing what's being said. It's about listening to the client and what they need, whether they know how to express it or they don't. It's about listening to what the mom is not saying that she needs done. It's what's listening to what the mother-in-law is saying that she can't say out loud. It's listening to the bride that doesn't want to sound obnoxious to her parents, but really has this dream that she wants to get done. It's about listening to the venues that need to make sure that they have a party the next day and how clean it needs to be and how effortless things need to happen. It's about listening to your vendors and realizing their needs and how they could help you enhance your party. I think that's the one thing that a lot of people in our industry lose in the process, especially as you get bigger. It's very easy with the confidence that comes from your Instagram followers, and even if you have 500 Instagram followers, it's interesting. I say when I had 500 Instagram followers, I had a lot more love because those 500 people were I had 100% of the love. Now we're, thank God, we're at 66,000, whatever it may be, and we have 20% of the love. And don't get me wrong, I get psyched when like I hit like a good 18,000 views on a weekend now on stories. Like I'm like, "Ah, that's crazy, you know?" And I'm like, people are actually paying attention. It's so cool. But the love and that you get from that, it really can blow up your ego very quickly. And it's very easy for you to become overly confident. And you have to keep checking yourself and keep listening, because if you don't keep listening, there will be somebody who's listening better. Someone's going to be paying more attention, and then they're just going to step right over whatever it is that you didn't hear. And I think that's the key, and that's been my key to growth over the past, you know, 14 years of doing this, is just listening to everyone, knowing that I don't know better than anybody else. I just know different, and knowing that I have something to learn from every person that comes my way, and listening to it and doing something about it. So that's the key for me.
I was talking to my friend about this recently because when I started this podcast, I did it because I started to have more time. It's something I always wanted to do, but like either didn't have the time, was totally scared, like all these things. And she's like, I was like, well, the Instagram only has like 60 followers, whatever it was, like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And she goes, but that's 60 people who are listening to your
Yeah.
podcast. Like, think about it. She goes, you went from not having this to now you have 60 people who are like listening. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's true, and now it's like growing with time, and it's the same thing in business.
Everything's the same. It's that's what it is. You need to let the people who are like people, my dad said it best, and he always said it, and it sticks with me every single day. It's like everything we do in life is like art. It's not for everybody. We as people are not for everybody. Some people will be drawn to you as a person, some people will not. That's okay. Like as long as you're a good person, you're doing good things. If people appreciate it and people are drawn to it, they'll follow, they'll listen, they'll be a part of it. They want to see it every day. They'll become a groupie. They'll hire you, they'll advocate for you. But the second someone's not interested in you, as long as you didn't do anything to piss them off, all they're doing is turning into someone else's channel, and that's not a bad thing. You just don't want them to have anything bad to say about you, but they shouldn't, you
Right.
know? Like, I don't know, you play every day, and playing is like art, and art is subjective, and that's okay.
Yeah. What we do, it definitely is art.
Yeah, I like to think so. Yeah.
Now, like with a lot of your clients right now, did you see a lot of people stick to their original dates, like to get married, or did you have a lot of people move to next year?
So at the beginning of COVID, I think a lot more people pivoted out. A lot of people jumped ship. Um, they were worried. They didn't want to. They figured, okay, it'll be early next year, whatever it may be. They allowed themselves to move out. A bunch. I don't want to say a lot. A bunch of them have moved back to just making smaller weddings now, and just said, you know what? I didn't think of it as a reality. Now I see it as a reality. I can do what I need, and that's fine. And then some are just keeping their dates, and we're just doing different events for them, which is, again, we're so grateful for it because we need the business. You know, who
Yeah.
doesn't? And
Yeah.
it's keeping us creative, it's keeping us relevant, it's keeping us energetic, it's keeping us believing, and it's also giving hope to so many other people, which is so awesome. I get that every day on Instagram, every day. Like, thank you for showing this. I feel inspired to make my wedding next month. Thank you for showing this, making me feel like I don't have to wait till 2022. And thank you for showing me this, that a 50-person wedding looks just as magical as a 300-person wedding.
It totally does. People are seeing that you can do with less people at your wedding and it still be just as stunning. It honestly, if not
It's not
more.
nicer. It's
Yeah.
nicer.
You can
That's the
honestly,
crazy
you can
part.
put more money toward the
Toward,
decor,
towards
the
the
food.
experience, exactly. And then all your guys are having a better experience. So it's like going on a gorgeous vacation and either choosing to stay 4 extra days in a cheaper space, or it's a cheaper place, or going on an equally great vacation, if not greater, and a much more elaborate or much more extravagant, experience, and cutting it a little shorter. Some people want the length, and some people just want the quality. So it depends.
Yeah. I'm like a quality over quantity person.
I'm experienced also all the way, all the time. So
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
rather have a better experience for a shorter amount of time.
Exactly. Me too. And and you know what? These smaller intimate weddings are proving to be just as stunning, if not more.
Loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Like, if you have the ability to do a great party in the backyard, like, go for it. Do
Yeah.
it. Do it
And
safely. Do
it's
it.
showing. People didn't think like they could do all these things in their backyard. Well, newsflash,
We can
yes,
make your
you can.
backyard pink and red. No,
Might be a
no.
little stressful like the morning of, but like it'll come together.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
um, let's see what else I have for you here. All right. So,
Oh,
big question.
curious question. I'm like, oh, there's a big one coming up.
I know
Okay.
you'll have an answer for it, so like I'm not worried.
Oh my gosh, okay, tell me.
With like all the uncertainty in the world, everything going on, you know, brides and grooms, most have had to, for 2020, have been put in this situation of, do I postpone? Do I keep the date? Do I get married on my original date, move just the reception to later? What advice do you have for our brides and grooms who are in the midst of postponing or rescheduling and they're not sure what to do and they're up in the air and they have no clue?
You know what my advice is? You're like, wait, what? I'm like, I don't know how to say this like in the most PC way. I want to say it in the most honest way. If I was speaking to my friend and my friend was in front of me and I'm removing myself from the industry, I'm taking myself out of the equation here. If it was my kid, I would say forget everybody else and focus on what you want for you. Meaning, you've always wanted that dress, you're going to wear the dress. You're going to get the dress is here. You always wanted that long aisle, we'll do it in the street. We'll close it down for 30 minutes. We'll get you a whole block of aisle. You know, you always wanted that I don't know, that picture with the sparklers around. Let me tell you something, it doesn't go more than 10 deep anyway. You know, so you can create magic. You can have a beautiful event. You can have the dream if that's what you want now. And if you don't, then you could do it later. But don't make your decision for other people. The number one issue I've had with most of my brides over this is like, oh my God, but I was supposed to have 400 people. And then afterwards, when they had their 50 or 100 or 150, or in Jersey, 200, 300 people, and they were supposed to have bigger weddings, I've yet to have one bride say to us, I was missing something or I was missing someone. And it's interesting because what the essence of the wedding, the beauty of why we get married, the intimacy of the moment of breaking the glass, saying your vows, jumping over a broom, whatever it is you do, or a sword, I don't know what it is. That's there. And you're surrounded by the ones that matter to you. You know, your loved ones, your best friends, the people that matter are going to be there. There's a lot of noise people, and a lot of people make their decisions based on that. So you have to live your life. You have to do what's great for you. And if that's what's important to you and you need that big party, then embrace it and just say, I'm moving forward with an event in 2021. I'm moving forward with an event in 2022. And then don't complain about it. Like, that's your decision. You made that choice. And I'm not knocking anyone who's had a hard time making this decision. I'm saying, now that I'm educated, now that I've been in it, now that I see it, I don't know if I would have had the same answer for you a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, when people had to make this decision. So I'm not putting myself in their shoes. I'm literally just saying that if my daughter was sitting in front of me torn, I would say, listen to what you're feeling for you and your fiance. You don't have to listen for the noise. You don't listen to the noise. Shut the noise out. If you can't have Auntie Karen because she's, you know, not able to get here, you'll live. How close are you to Auntie Karen? You know what I'm saying? That, I promise you, that day, that's not what's going to go through your mind. Now, I know there are people who have people, again, I don't know how to say this in a PC way. There are people who have family who couldn't make it because they're trapped in other countries and they can't get here. I understand that's a bigger issue. But all I'm saying is follow what's important to you. If it's important to you to have that big wedding, wait. If it's important for you to get married and have a special moment with your loved ones, you can make that happen, and you can make that happen in a magnificent way. Don't hold back.
I agree with you. There's no one way over another that's right. It's just whatever works for you. I mean, I know I even tell like my brides and grooms who are like, oh, I can't get married in the winter because it might snow. And I'm like, I mean, it could, but like you also might have a 70-degree day. Like it's so 50-50. I tell people all the time, I'm like, my bat mitzvah was on a snowstorm of 2 feet. And 97% of the people came. Who wants to be there will always.
They left all their gifts at home, but they came. I'm just kidding. I'm
like, I don't remember because it was like 100 years ago now, the spot mitzvah.
Yeah.
Or at least it feels like it. But yeah, it was, you know, you can't let things like weather, season, you know, will the family travel, will like
do what feels right. The people who matter will be there. They always are.
Exactly.
That's my advice. I hope it's good advice.
I think it's good advice. I agree with you.
Thank you.
So Josh, last question. You're all over Instagram. You're always doing amazing things. Yeah. What else? What should we be looking out for? What do you have coming up that is like that everybody should be looking out for and watching?
Oof, that is a good question. I'm hoping that sometime in the near future, you guys will see me maybe a little bit more broadcasted. We'll see about that. We'll leave that there. And then I don't know. Hopefully we'll just get more great projects that I can just share with people, like even some corporate work, some fun experiential items. I don't know. I want to play. I want to play in the sandbox where like I can't even see the walls. They're so far away. And I don't mean that in a financial way. I mean that in a open-minded, creative, have fun with it, just be allowed to play environment. I hope you'll see a lot more of that. In the meantime, I'm making the most out of everything that's coming our way. Our team has been incredibly overworked, incredibly, unbelievably like strong through this process. They have not slept in, I don't even know, weeks. And whatever I do, wherever I go, I really hope you're just going to see all of these amazing, talented people with me, because without them, I'm literally just a bald guy with a keep on his head who happens to carry on a decent conversation. So like, I really hope that you'll see us, continue to see us, for a long time to come.
I think that this is going to be, just like even brighter things ahead. I really do feel that way. And I think that people are going to play more now.
Yes, I'm with you on that.
With design, with wanting to be different, because you know what? It just shows like life is really short. And why wait to start forever? Do it the way you want to do it, and do it the way you want now.
100%. Thank you for this.
Thank you for coming on. You're my first video.
Oh, I'm so excited. I was like, okay, can you edit the lighting a little bit? My ring broke.
I'm totally gonna try to edit. If the editing is off, just know it's not my strong suit. But here at the Bridetender headquarters, we're just really trying.
I am totally for trying. And if you guys heard in the background all like the sweeping, the craziness, the kids going to sleep, the dishes being whatever, I'm sure you heard it over the course of this. It's first day of school today, so we're all like catching up, and my wife, God bless her, is like so on it with lunches and making sure that every kid's lunches are lined up perfectly. Everything's getting done for tomorrow, so she's ahead of the game. She's amazing. And this is her time, so I took it away from her. So I'm like, you have to be quiet.
Well, tell her that we really appreciate her, and she is everything and more today on the first day of school. My God.
It's insane.
I know. I kind of forgot that that was happening, because
it happened.
This year is just so like.
Here we go, 2020, 2021. We're on the cusp of next year.
And we're so ready for it.
We are. But thank you so much for this. Thanks for having me on. You've been great. You're awesome. Thank you for your energy, your validation, your excitement for what we do. It means a lot to us. And I look forward to coming back again, hopefully soon.
Yes. Josh, just tell everybody where they can follow you.
So you guys can follow me and my entire incredible family, Birch family, at Birch Event Design on Instagram, Birch Event Design on TikTok, at birchevents.com. I don't have a Twitter account. I don't want to get into that. That's where you can find us. And I hope we keep sharing great things.
Well, Josh, thank you so much for coming on today. I look forward to seeing everything else that you and your team are going to do. I look forward to us one day working together on things.
Make it happen.
Dreams. Oh, it's going to happen. It's happening. It's happening. We're finding a backyard. We're building this chuppah.
Do it. Let's go.
That's it. Like, that's all that it is. We're bringing Lux event rentals in. We're getting that furniture. Like the visions that you create, like, I'm in it. Like, this is what I want to. So you already know.
Yeah, I do. It's awesome. I love it. All right. Enjoy. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye now.
Bye. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Bridetender podcast. You can follow me and all my Instagram stories at The Candy Guru. Make sure to follow my event business at Eventpire, my event blog showcasing the top event trends on Long Island at the Long Island Eventista. And of course, make sure to follow the Bridetender for all fun facts on the wedding industry, ways to save money on your special event, and hiring the best in the business for your special day. As you saw for our first video, we had Josh Spiegel from Birch Event Design. Make sure to follow them on Instagram at Birch Event Design to see all the top event planning, decor, floral trends, everything in the industry. They're always busy. They're always posting Instagram stories, and they're always giving the content that people want to see. Until next week, mix yourself a cocktail, slide into my DMs with questions you want answered on all things weddings. Stay sane, stay healthy, and we'll catch you next week. Bye.